Iraq has happened in Tel Aviv tonight, with missiles coming out. We don't know from where, but the speculation clearly is that the main missile site aimed at Israel last night was destroyed by the Americans, but portable missile launchers that the Americans have been saying all day today that they did not, or were not convinced they had knocked all of them out. Clearly, if that's the way it came, they had not. Another report, once again, of air raid sirens going off in a number of places in Saudi Arabia tonight, and more sirens going off in Tel Aviv. Let's quickly... Now, the Pentagon, the United States Defense Department, has not given an official briefing yet, but some word is starting to filter out from some of the senior officers, calling it a major attack on Israel. And at this hour, we are into a whole different story, with the stakes on the Middle East war broadening. The whole idea was to try to contain it to Iraq and Kuwait. That has not happened, and now we wait to find out Israeli response. As Paul Workman speculated, it may well already be taking place, with a no doubt that Israeli aircraft are now in the air, but where they're heading and what they're about to do still remains a question. So the big picture of this story is unfolding at this very moment. We're also hearing now that some of the victims on the attack in Tel Aviv are being taken already to hospitals in that city. No surprise on that people would be trying to get them to hospitals. Still, the question is, though, was it chemical? Was it conventional? A lot of rumors flying around already tonight, a lot of unconfirmed reports, but there is a consistent report coming out of Tel Aviv that at least one of the missiles, in fact, was a chemical warhead on it, and that, of course, is the worst case scenario for any attack on Tel Aviv, the introduction of chemical weapons, and the response that will be taken by Israel, where and how. General Manson, we talked about this a few moments ago, trying to determine the theory has always been that Israel had nuclear capability. What's your sense on that?
There's almost universal agreement that Israel has for some time had nuclear weapons. They have suggested it themselves quite openly from time to time. Whether these would ever be used in response to a chemical attack is something we won't know for a time being. Everyone, of course, hopes that that will not happen. That in itself would be a major escalation again.
Now, one assumes that at this hour there must be desperate pleading on the phones between Washington, Tel Aviv, and Jerusalem about how the Israeli retaliation will be, what response it will be. Will the Israelis be listening to the Americans at this hour?
I think they will. The Israelis, I'm sure, in spite of the trauma of having been attacked by these missiles, will apply common sense. That they have done this in the past, and certainly hope that they'll continue to do that in the future, because it will have an important effect on the outcome of this whole business.
All right, let's go back to Jerusalem now. Our correspondent Paul Workman is standing by at our bureau in Jerusalem. Paul, is there anything that no, we can't go there at the moment. How about to Tel Aviv? Can we get back into Tel Aviv? All right, and where is Mr. Zev? In Tel Aviv. Let's go to Tel Aviv now. We have Zev Shev, military correspondent and analyst, on the phone. What can you tell us, Mr. Shev, about what's happened in Tel Aviv tonight?
What we know that the alert came in time, which means that the system is working quite well. And later on, we had the impact of a number of explosions, which means that a number of missiles fell in Tel Aviv area. We don't know the location, and in any case, this is not something that we can broadcast and say where it happened, because this is giving the enemy the exact location, and they are looking for this.
Can you give us...
We don't know the results. We hope that nothing serious had happened.
What do you know for certain about the kind of missiles that have landed in Tel Aviv? Do you know that?
No one knows now for sure, but all the Israeli citizens were asked after the sirens by the radio, through the radio, to go into the closed rooms, go to the shelter, to take the gas mask. And while I'm talking now with you, I'm speaking you with the gas mask. Therefore, it's not so comfortable. And we hope that nothing serious had happened. The meaning is actually that the American bombardment on the missile side, as we knew it yesterday, despite all the announcements, we knew that it was not complete. It didn't destroy all the sites, all all the missile sites, and the mobile sites still, the Iraqi mobile missile sites still exist. And we are waiting to the alarm will be over.
Can I'm told you're a military correspondent, military analyst. What is your expectation of how Israel will respond to this?
I mean, this is the last thing that I am ready to speak about this. As you remember, that the Israeli government said many times that Israel will respond. It depends what will be the outcome of the attack. And we just have to wait. It's not an automatic response. And the consideration will be discussed, and we just have to wait. It's a war, and we don't have to be too quick to take the decisions.
Do you think any decision that is taken would be taken in concert with the other multinational forces, or is this a decision Israel makes on its own?
On its own, it might consider the American request, but the decision is on its own, because it's her responsibility for the defense of its citizens.
Now, where exactly are you in Tel Aviv tonight? Would you describe
we are in the center of Tel Aviv.
Now, what have you heard? What did you hear when the explosion started?
Just the explosions and the announcement before to go into the shelter.
How many explosions, do you know?
3 or 4 explosions altogether.
And they were all about at the same time?
No, in